Hello, and welcome to the Tainted Lands, Ordeal of Omen. We are an actual play stream for the game Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and this is the first episode of our new campaign. My name is RJ Cresswell, and I am the Dungeon Master. Tonight I'm joined by 3 returning players and 1 new player. Let's take a moment to meet them. Players, welcome and welcome back. Tell us who you are. We'll get to your characters in just a moment. So, Bertie, you're our new player. Welcome, and thanks so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus, and I am so excited to be playing with RJ. I have been following you like a creep on Twitter for a long time now, and I finally weaseled my way into a stream. That's really creepy. I'm sorry. I am in Austin, and I have a lot of pets, and I play a lot of D&D, and I stream some things, and that's me.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you've weaseled your way into this stream. We're so happy to have you here. So, Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric. I have been playing with RJ since the beginning of the Tainted Lands, and I do some D&D design stuff now. Actually working on designing a setting specifically to be used for streams and all that stuff. I'll probably plug that all at the end, and also part of another podcast and other stuff too that I'll plug at the end as well. And I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. It's been a while. I think we've established we've been off for about a month or something like that. So that's a bit of a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
I've been excited. Been kind of getting things together all day. Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess. I am in Ontario, Canada, and even though we haven't played this game, I've sort of been able to keep myself busy D&D wise over the holidays with Lewis DMing a game.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, you guys have posted, or y'all have posted about that. So fun times. And Lewis.
Hi, I'm Lewis. I live in sunny Scotland. I've also been here since the start. As Jess said, I've DM'd a couple games. I've got a home game and I've got this online game, and then I play in this game, which I'm quite buzzing to get back into. So, yeah.
All right. Well, me too. So, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to read a little bit for y'all. After finding a cure for the plague of Black Sands and defeating the demon Zumzi and its cult, Sir Kay, Wynne, and Wallace decided to spend a month in the city before traveling west in search of Wallace's former friend Ragnar, a man who had destroyed Wallace's monastery and set off for World's End to find an ancient dwarven artifact known as the Rune Hammer, a weapon with the power to reorder reality to the wielder's liking. In that month's time, Wallace enjoyed leisure while acquiring tattoos that reflected his trials and learning a little of the art itself. He also spent some time studying a map of the caves of an ancient white dragon that may hold the Rune Hammer, while Wynne trained with the cleric Harwin at the Chapel of Tomes and spent time trying to reassure her worried parents before leaving once more. Sir Kay surveyed the parcel of land granted him by King Malvalos, and began plans to build upon the ruins of the fire-eaten manor home known as Crow's Moat. The party also began working to found a legitimate mercenary company known as the Blackstone Mercenary Company. Their thoughts also turned occasionally to their fallen friend Junie, and their recently disappeared friend Toby, who had left nothing but a note that read, and if you all forgive me, I'm going to try to imitate Kristen's Toby voice. So, Dear Wynne, Wallace, and Sir Kay, I know Sir Kay isn't your real name, but frankly it doesn't matter. You are, and will always be Sir Kay to me. Plus, I wasn't really paying close attention when your real name was said anyways. I'm sure you're wondering where I've gone by now, and truth is, I'm a coward. I'm scared of death, was scared to fully love the one that made my life worth living, and scared to face the one thing that took my love away from me. I was always taking the easy way out, and you all deserve more. Junie's memory deserves better. I would have continued to be a coward if I wasn't shown there could be more, and I'm forever thankful to you all for that. Fate has dealt me a new hand, and I've been given the chance to face my cowardice. As you read this, I'm in the astral plane, trying to save the love of my life and face my greatest fear once and for all. I'm hopeful that I'll be successful in return, but I'm a practical man and know the odds are not in my favor. Just know our time together was more valuable than words can express in this letter, and it made me take my head out of the sand. Go on and continue to do great things for the people of this land like I know you will, and know that I consider you all friends that gave me the courage to fight for what really matters, even if it's to the very end. That was actually written by Kristen for y'all, so.
Oh, mate, that is so sad.
All right. So, after being unable to find any sign of Toby, your party decided to charter the Kraken, Edgel Morkun's boat, and set off for Madrid Island to investigate why the cult might have been planning to smuggle the demon Zumzi there, before finally setting off to World's End. The journey could have gone better. Rough seas and storms plagued you. With Madrid Island in sight, the Kraken pitched and capsized and broke apart. And now you find yourselves on the shores of the island, waterlogged and coughing up brine, watching the flotsam wash ashore and looking for signs of the crew but finding none. A chill blows in on the night spring air that sets your bones a shiver. Waves crash and lightning strikes. You smell another impending storm. What do you do?
Oh, I hate seawater. Well, what are we gonna do now? It doesn't look like anyone else got out of that.
I'm thinking we'll have to turn inland.
Aye.
Trying to get
Yeah,
it out
right.
of the storm.
Gonna have to
I've
find
got
something
water
to
at
shelter.
places I didn't know existed.
Wallace wrings his beard out, like a towel. He kind of just
Yeah,
gets
Kay
as
would
much
have to
water.
do that with his hair, because his hair is longer now, too. That's not fun.
We
Win,
should look for shelter.
any idea of any shelter nearby?
Wynn takes a look around. What does the land look like around us?
Okay. So you're currently on what is basically a beach with black sands. It is mid-spring, but you're pretty far north in the world, and while the days get sunny and warm, the evenings tend to get a bit chilly, and sun is setting. Like I said already, you've got this kind of chill in your bones. And as you're looking around, you can tell that there is a tree line kind of off in the distance from the shore, not too far. You're looking around, surveying, and really seeing no signs of civilization. You don't, see any smoke from potential fires or anything like that. The sky is heavily overcast. And again, it's about the time of sunset, so between the sky being overcast with sort of these heavy, pregnant clouds, ready to burst, it's pretty dark. So.
2 questions. Do we
Okay.
know generally where the abbey is on the island?
If you had
Is it on a
researched that,
particular side?
yeah, if you had researched that, and probably you would have discovered that it's kind of centrally located in the middle of the island. You also would have discovered that there aren't too many settlements on this island. The one that you were bound for was a place called Omen, the village of Omen.
Do we know how far we were from Omen when the ship capsized?
You're not really sure. You were getting, fairly close to land, not so close that you could make out a settlement or anything like that. Again, skies have been pretty dark. You've, had your visibility cut by, just this tumultuous seas and storms and stuff like that. So you're not exactly sure. You just know you crashed a ways offshore, and you all were, able to manage to make it to shore without drowning or anything like that. I'm sure that you were attempting to, try to rescue crew members and stuff like that along the way, but, they slipped out of grasp, and, none have seemed to make it to shore.
Well, we shouldn't worry about food or that. I can sort us out with food and water. We should focus our energy and perhaps find an omen, or even heading more inland. Make a cute tree house or something. Probably wanted the tree house.
Make it to the tree line, try to find a village. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. If
All
nothing
right.
else, at least we can start a fire to warm up if we don't find anything.
For sure.
Good call. All right, well, might as well start trudging. And Kay just sort of starts walking up the beach towards the forest, and like every few feet you watch as like, because he's walking, one of the new plates on the plate armor moves and just sheds another like half pound of water.
Just a point of order real quick. Y'all were traveling by boat, so, I'm assuming that Kay probably wasn't wearing plate armor. And had he been wearing plate armor, he probably sank,
Yeah, he'd be
pretty
very
quickly.
dead. So yeah, that's in the bag.
So my assumption is, this is probably one of those circumstances where most of you are not wearing armor or anything like that, if you would normally be doing that. Because again, you were traveling by boat, and there was no real reason to walk around the boat in plate mail, so.
Yes.
We do have
He's
like
just got his great sword and shield.
Okay. So, y'all are gonna walk inland, is what I heard. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, you'll walk inland into the tree line. I think what I would like to have you do is perhaps somebody give me a survival roll.
I am plus.
Tell me.
I'm plus 5 on survival, so I'll roll that.
Okay.
That's a 17 plus 5.
17. Okay. All right. You know kind of what you're doing. Why don't you set a scene for us as you're trying to do these things? Tell me what Wallace goes about doing as he heads into the tree line and sort of takes charge with, finding shelter or fire or what have you.
This isn't the first time that Wallace has had to travel great distances, because, before we even went in Morton, he probably travelled the furthest out of all of us, travelling from Ironholm. So he's kind of used to being in this situation where, he has to look for somewhere safe to kind of make up camp. And he kind of just surveys the tree line as we approach. And, it starts off as the forest kind of gets like thicker and thicker, and he finds a kind of opening. And Wallace collects some wood, sets up some logs so that we can sit on, and starts to make a campfire. There's like a kind of canopy in the trees which is going to shelter us mostly from the rain. He looks around, kind of just looking for essentials that we're going to need, and he takes off his bag, gets his armor out ready, just in case we should need it. He's probably plays a tune on his bone pipes as everyone else. Sets up and gets ready to sort of make camp as well, and probably says to everybody, here's quite a good spot. It's good land, good shelter. We could stop up here for a few hours and gather our thoughts on what we're going to do next.
Yeah, I'll help him put his armor on, and then he can help me do the same to kind of speed that process up. And then Kay's just going to have a really weird idea, because he's been hanging out with Win a lot lately. And he's immediately going to start looking for moss on the trees.
Okay. All right, so he's going to kind of begin investigating the area. Now, why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Ooh. That's a 12.
That's a 12? Okay. All right. I am certain that he will find moss on the trees. To what end, Eric?
To discover which direction is north.
Okay. All
What?
right.
How do you do
So,
that?
Moss usually only grows, it's either on the north side or the south side, but it's a really easy way to tell which side is north.
okay, all right. So he will be able to find the moss. This would, fall under the purview of more kind of like a survival skill. So why don't you give me a survival? Now that you've, kind of like located moss on trees and stuff like that, give me a survival roll and let's see if you can determine which way is north.
That's better. That's 17.
Yeah. So you're easily able to pick out the direction of north and kind of orient yourself a good bit more. But another thing that Sir Kay would have noticed as he was searching for moss on the trees is as he was placing his hands on them, kind of like feeling around and stuff like that, coming to the realization of, his cardinal directions, he pulls his hands away from the tree. And as he pulls his hand away from the tree, he thinks that he has a bit of moss or something from the surface of the tree on it. But when he does that, this webbing just kind of like comes away from the tree with his hand.
No, thank you. No. I don't like this. This is just me not liking this too, by the way. Okay, it's fine. He's fine with spiders. He's seen wind transform into a giant one. I'm just nope.
Gotcha.
Okay, just
You
sort
mean-
of pulls his hand away, and then like kind of swipes at it with his other hand and just says, "Well, you may want to watch for spiders."
You've been fooling around the trees, Win.
What? No.
All right.
I don't know what the animals are like here, but we should watch just in case they're poisonous.
All right. Another thing Sir Kay notices as he turns and kind of like faces the group to warn them of, potential spiders. As he, kind of picks his feet up as well, he'll notice that there's a bit of webbing kind of like, wrapping around his boots. As it appears, this sort of forest floor is kind of covered in this stuff as well. It's a very fine, almost transparent kind of webbing.
His shoulders just kind of slump, and he looks down and he says, "It's too late. They already know we're here. Watch where you step, by the way."
What?
All right.
There's that much web?
Check your boots. There's enough on the ground to at least tell them we're here and walking through. What they think we are, well, just keep an eye above your heads and keep an eye for any pits.
A wise man once told me, follow the spiders.
Wallace, your friends give you terrible advice, myself included.
Yeah, agreed. Don't follow the spiders.
Right.
Hopefully
And
not.
Jess, if you'll give me a nature roll for Wen, please.
Okay. $23.
Okay. All right. So as Wen took a little bit of an interest in the webbing, asking about it or what have you, and Sir Kay told her to kind of like watch her boots, look at her boots or whatever, as she begins to kind of look around, she, picks up on this, again, very subtle webbing that's kind of like coating the forest floor and everything else. And she can tell that whatever has created this is not any kind of spider that she's familiar with. She's seen large swaths of, webbing covering trees and stuff like that, but nothing, that has created this kind of amount of coverage with webbing.
Okay. I don't recognize this, guys.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
No.
Great.
Can I use thaumaturgy to sound like a dog, to bark, to see if it would scare anything that's potentially hiding?
I mean, you may certainly use thaumaturgy to bark like a dog loudly.
I'll do that.
Okay. All right.
I'd probably get on all fours, just in case they can see. Then they would just see like a kind of four-legged thing. Like I don't know. I don't know if that would count as an intimidation roll or whatever, but that's what I'm going for.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't you go ahead, since you're trying to play it like that, why don't you give me an intimidation roll?
A natural 1.
A natural 1. Okay. All right. Regardless of your roll,
Starting this game off right.
regardless of your role, as you use, this thaumaturgy to kind of mimic the sound of a dog, sort of loudly, you will hear things in the forest that are unseen, moving. It sounds like they're moving fairly quickly away from you.
Away from me, class. So I've either weirded them out or like scared them. I'd probably be like, "Can you guys see that, or am I?" Yeah,
I mean, I have dark vision up to 120 feet, if that matters.
I have dark vision as well, but I don't know the extent of it.
Oh wait, no, I don't. That
Probably
just didn't get
60
removed from my
feet.
sheet.
I think so.
Didn't it? Sorry,
Um,
warlock things. Trying to remember which invocations I have. Yes, I do still have the dark vision.
I have dark vision of 60 feet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you do have dark vision, but it's not so much about it being dark, which it is. It's more so the coverage of the forest being pretty thick and blocking things. So.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look at those two and say, so we know which way is north. If we have an idea of which side of the island Omen is on, we can start moving in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
We can take this just like we took Morton, and I'll pop some dancing lights and we can start walking.
Let's just hope we don't come in at any theirs, because that would not be great. We should just watch. We don't know what's in these woods. We don't know what's about this place.
Okay. Lewis, actually, I need to get some stats from everyone real quick. So, for a second. Lewis, go ahead and give me your AC,
17.
17. Also, give me your passive perception.
20.
Okay, wow.
Damn.
Okay. AC,
20. Shields out.
passive perception,
Passive perception is an 11.
11. Okay. All right, Jess. AC,
16.
passive perception.
16.
Okay. And then, Bertie, I know your character hasn't joined us yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and get these stats from you so I have them for later and don't have to ask. What is your character's AC?
17.
And their passive perception?
Is 14.
14. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Now, Lewis has a passive perception of 20. You're all talking. And as he's kind of like, looking around at the webbing, trying to see off in the distance what's scurrying away, he will notice an oddity kind of like around this area. There is like a deer skull of a buck just kind of like wedged in between some foliage. You see that there's webbing around it, the antlers, tines of the antlers kind of like poking out.
These are some hungry spiders. Yeah, dear. Or there's something else going on in here.
Yeah, I don't like this. And I'm gonna reach up, and Kay's got his greatsword Sin Eater slung across his back. And this time around, he's gonna grab the handle of it, but instead of pulling the sword out, you're gonna watch as like this weird kind of phase happens with the handle. And he pulls, and there's like a miniaturized version of it that comes out as a longsword as he summons a pact weapon. And
That's cool.
it looks exactly like Sin Eater. It's just like miniaturized down to longsword size, so he can use it with his shield. And Sin Eater's still slung on his back. And he's just gonna kind of hold that out and just say, "Right, I'm gonna regret saying this, but I'll go first." And he's just gonna start hacking through foliage.
Okay.
march into where we know, like, since we know what direction north is, he's going to just sort of point himself to the side of the island that Omen is supposed to be on and pray.
All right. Now, before we do that, I'd like... Well, actually, first, Birdie, your character has
Yes.
been tracking their quarry, this very strange quarry. When they follow it to a bit of a clearing in the forest near the shore, and it stands still and pokes its skull through the foliage and just sits. And as your character kind of observes it, they notice that beyond this foliage is a group of individuals. Everybody, please describe your characters, starting with Eric and Sir Kay.
Okay, so Kay's gotten a little bit of an upgrade in the past month. So now he's no longer in the worn out old chainmail he was wearing that had like huge gashes in it and all that. He's wearing fancy new plate mail. He's got a blue cloak over one shoulder, half drow, kind of bigger and burlier than the usual half elf. He's got his usual dark skin, and now the kind of aurora that usually happens whenever he casts any of his paladin or his warlock magic sort of flickers around the blade that he's holding as well, so it kind of just flickers through on occasion. And his hair is a bit longer now. It used to be down to about his chin, and he used to tie it back, but now it's actually like braided and about his shoulder length. And he's got new house heraldry on the cloak and on the chest plate of his plate armor. It's a lantern being held by a bat, and it's got the Blackstone Mercenary diamond inside the lantern.
Okay. All right. Jess, if you'll describe Wen, please.
All right. She is a high elf, long blonde hair, green eyes. She is wearing a shield, carrying a club, but no armor. Fairly common looking green-brown clothing.
Okay. And Lewis, if you'll describe Wallace, please.
So Wallace is a hill dwarf. He's standing around 5 feet tall. He's bald, but he's got like a ponytail at the back of his head. He's got kind of tattoos all over him. They're kind of like Nordic kind of runes. Half of his face is just this bubbled ruin, and his eyes clouded, and it has like a kind of vicious scar going down that side as well. He's wearing kind of this breastplate, and it's got a Medusa's head embroidered into it, and he's got like these purple vestments on. You can see he carries these panpipes to his side, and he also wears like this amulet which has a moth on it, and it gives off this kind of purple magical aura. He's got like a braided beard, sleeve tattoos. Yeah.
Okay. So, Birdie, that's what your character observes, or who your character observes in the clearing. And as they're watching them and watching this strange quarry, they notice that the quarry begins to kind of shake a bit and chatter. And about that time, Wallace will observe the skull that was kind of hung within the foliage. The teeth on it begin to kind of like rattle and chatter together in this sort of like strange, almost sounds kind of like a moaning, but more melodic, is carried away from it as the skull begins to kind of like shake back and forth and rattle. And what I would like each of you to do is give me a saving throw versus
What kind of
wisdom.
thing? Oh, sound. +6. Yeah. That's 22.
Okay, 22. What about Wen?
You're muted, Jess.
23.
23.
Yes.
And Eric, Sir Kay?
And I got a 7.
7. Okay. All right. Roll me 1d10, please.
Oh no, I
Oh
hate this.
no.
3.
Oh.
Okay. As Sir Kay sees this skull begin to shake and the teeth chatter and rattle and this sort of like melodic moaning sound cut across the clearing, he absolutely freezes in his tracks. And while his sword was drawn and his shield was raised, he takes no movement at all whatsoever. Now, we have started initiative. So I'm going to track the creature as going on initiative 1, or acting first. If the rest of you will go ahead and give me a roll for your initiatives.
14.
18.
So for once, rolling normal initiative, I didn't roll a 1.
Okay?
I rolled a 2, which is still a 1 afterwards modifier anyways.
Okay.
I can't escape this.
All right.
So
And
tragic,
then-
mate.
Birdie, if you'll give me your initiative as well.
20.
20. Okay. So did Win have a 22, or was that an 18?
18.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, Wallace, what did you get?
Yeah, I got a 14, mate.
Okay.
Okay, so the order of initiative would be the creature, Birdie's character would go, followed by Win, followed by Wallace, followed by Eric, or Sir Kay. So, Birdie, you see this happening, this creature shaking, and you hear this noise, and you didn't really have to give a saving throw. It wasn't affecting you, whatever it was. But you can tell something odd is going on with it. One of the people that you're observing in the clearing, has their sword raised and their shield raised, and they seem to have just kind of like frozen in their tracks upon hearing this. Now, this is happening momentarily, and your character's not sure if this is just them being still and cautious and waiting to find what happens next. So I don't even know if they would know they're particularly under spell, but it seems weird and eerie, even for your character who is accustomed to some strange things. Is there anything your character would care to do?
So I see this occurring, and you said I'm on the other side of a lake or something, right?
No.
Or
You're
other side of a clearing.
yeah, you're in the forest
Okay.
right now. You're in a forested area, and this creature had kind of like stuck its skull, its head into a bit of the foliage in the clearing. And
Okay.
you're in a position where you can kind of like see, into the clearing from where you are.
Okay, got it. Well, I see this occurring, and I see these new visitors. I am very unsure of them as much as the creature. And my initial reaction is to duck low to the ground and observe.
Okay, fair enough. Now, that's going to take us to Jess. Or Win, excuse me.
Okay. Sir Kay? You okay? Since he stopped moving?
You glance at him, take account of Kay, and what's your passive sense motive?
Insight?
Insight, that's what it is.
That would be a 16 as well.
A 16. You're looking at him. You know Kay well enough to see that he appears to be kind of confused.
Again.
You've seen this look before.
Remember when I said we were
Okay.
going to do this just like the woods in Morton? I didn't mean that literally. Because that's the last time I got hit with a confusion effect, too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you see him, and you can tell that he's kind of out of sorts right now.
Okay. That would have been my action, would it, or can I still use an action?
We'll say that you could still use an action.
Okay. And I've seen the skull.
You see the skull. It continues
Okay.
to behave as I've already described, kind of like shaking, rattling, chattering.
Okay. Well, I will cast Shillelagh on my club
Okay.
and will attack it.
Okay. Give me an attack roll,
Because
please.
if it's a skull, it's not alive. So 10.
Okay. You take survey of your compatriot Sir Kay and notice that he seems to be under the effect of some kind of confusion. This has happened to you before. You've seen him be affected by a similar spell before. And you realize that this creature has something to do with it, so you rush forward with your club, raise it up, strike at it. It moves from out of place, and you can tell that it's not just kind of like webbed into the foliage, but it's actually attached to the neck of a deer. So it is a deer skull, but the neck appears to be like, living with the fur and stuff like that. And then as it moves from you, the foliage parts under the weight of its body, and you see that this deer neck is attached to the body of like this giant spider.
What?
As one of
Oh.
its legs kind of comes out and out of the foliage and stabs into the forest floor beside you.
Terrifying.
Oh.
I hate this so
And
much.
you miss.
Okay.
Now,
Um.
that's going to
Yeah.
take us to... Oh, did you have anything else you could do?
Nope. That will be everything.
All right. That's going to take us to Wallace, who observes this.
I'm going to be like, my skill's bigger than yours, and I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon and stick the nut in this thing.
All right.
So
Go ahead and describe what spiritual weapon looks like for the sake of anybody who may be watching and not know, and for the sake of Birdie, who hasn't presumably heard you describe.
my spiritual weapon is my head, but big. So it's just my head. So like it just smashes into things, and it's
So
like it's kind of like you can kind of see through it, and it's just like purple. That it's just my head.
It's his head, but you get to see its real size.
Yeah.
All right. So you cast your spiritual weapon. Give me an attack roll for that, as you can hit when you cast it.
19 plus 8. So that's 27 to hit.
That will strike. Give me damage.
Hold the bus. Spiritual weapons 2d8, right? Let me double check that. Spiritual weapon. So 1d8 plus that. A higher. It's 2d8, right? Or is it 1d8? I'm pretty sure it's 2d8.
Probably at your level, I imagine it's 2d8, but I don't... Let me...
Goes up 1d8 per spell slot above first or second level spell.
Oh well.
Oh, that's right. It's not a cantrip. Yeah. So...
Yeah. Give me a sec. I know it's a second level spell. So does that mean that I need to cast it at third to have more than a d8?
Yeah.
If it's 1d8 plus whiz at second level, goes up
Right,
1d8.
I'll just cast it at second. Right, so that's 9 points of damage.
Got it. Anything else Wallace wants to do?
Yes, for my action, I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
Natural 20.
All right.
Oh, shit.
So that's 22 points of damage.
All right. So you cast your guiding bolt, and streaks from your hands, strikes the creature, and the creature begins to glow with sort of radiant energy. But it stands still in front of Wynn.
Oh, my pain.
Then that would bring us to Sir Kay, who, again, is confused this round and just sort of frozen and takes no action from where he is.
Oh, do I not roll another d10?
No, that was for this round.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I described it to you earlier, but that's what's happening right now. You're continuing to be frozen for that. So you don't move, and it goes back up to the top of the round, to the creature's turn. Now, Jess, you're very close to this thing, and you notice that within the antlers and tines above the skull, there's webbing. It looks kind of like a normal-sized spider's web, and you'll see that there's all of these kind of like filaments, these strands of webbing that are just kind of like out and about in the air and what have you. And as you hear kind of like more of this sort of melodic moaning, you see that a lot more of this filament begins to sort of filter out, emanate from this webbing in the antlers. And it begins to cover your body.
Oh.
Now, as this happens, it begins falling on your body in sort of copious amounts and kind of like weighs down your arms. And your body is almost cocooned quite instantly, as this webbing just begins to wrap around you. And you find yourself restrained. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
That's bad.
Yeah.
So wind's restrained.
Yeah.
yes. So you find yourself restrained, and it would be your action next.
Isn't it Birdie's action first?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. So, Birdie, your character would have observed these things going on. The people within the clearing of the forest began attacking the creature as it was, kind of like casting some kind of enchantment upon them. And you've seen that this creature is covered one of them in its webbing.
Right.
Now, I'm assuming
That's gross.
as you have tracked it through the forest, you've noticed it do this to other animals as well. You've also noticed it without, when your character is observed other giant spiders in their kind of natural habitat, that they will, wrap things up in webbing and, basically suck the juices out of them or whatever. You've seen this creature kind of do something similar, but from a distance, almost as if it's kind of like withering and draining the life force from something that's within the cocoon once it's got it wrapped inside the cocoon. So you've seen it do that to animals.
Okay. Bear with me, please, because I haven't had time to put this all on my character sheet, but I have notes on everything. So bear with me while I talk through what's going to happen.
Okay.
So, how far am I from this creature?
I'll let you determine that because we didn't say it, and your character was, stealthily moving, stealthily tracking it.
Well, I'm going to say that I was about 40 feet away, crouched down. So, first, I am going to cast do a bonus action. And I want to cast Zephyr Strike. And that gives me the ability to, it says, until the spell ends, your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Move like the wind. And then once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on a weapon attack roll on your turn. And that'll deal some extra damage. And then whether I hit or miss, my walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of that turn. So what I want to do is I'm going to move up to the creature. And I'm going to attack it with my scimitar that I have pulled out. Let me find that guy real quick. And so here's, well, I'll say it as I get to it. But my scimitar is going to swing down on him and attempt to do 1d6 slashing damage. So that is a 15.
A 15 to strike?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. All right. Two things. One, we haven't had a lot of time to talk about your character's equipment and stuff like that, but I'll let you know. Your character has at the least a +1 scimitar, so it is a special, weapon that you've acquired somehow. So if you want to, have a certain distinct look to it, you can be thinking about that. So you will get an additional +1 to attack and +1 to damage because of the nature of the weapon. So there is that. That being said, you would have a 16 to strike.
Right.
Even so, as you go to do it, it kind of like you get a glancing blow sort of like on it as one of the legs, kind of like moves and knocks your scimitar to the side.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to roll again because I cast the Zephyr Strike. So I'm going to go after this bad boy again. 22.
22 will certainly hit.
Math.
Okay.
Math. All right. So that's a 1d6. Okay. 6.
6 points of damage. Okay. All right.
Now I shall told you it was going to take a second. Now I shall because this is the start of my first combat turn. I can take an additional weapon attack as part of it. So I'm gonna swing again. I'm just like coming in like this with this guy. It's like I'm chopping through the brush or something.
Right.
17.
17 will strike.
Yes. And this one will do an additional 1d8 damage. So that's 7 and 2. So 9. And I have an additional attack because I'm a badass. And 18.
18. Okay. 18 will strike.
Damn.
Rangers, man.
Brady, your volume is...
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Everything went black for a second. So it was an 18.
Okay, so that will strike.
And I rolled 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Okay.
Nice.
And now I'm going to also that one of those things gave me another 10 feet of movement. So I am going to back up 30 feet.
Okay.
Not
attracting an attack of opportunity because of the Zephyr Strike. Okay. Got it.
I'm down again.
Okay. All right. So that all happened. As your character,
Rangers are really good, man.
You all just saw a massive whirlwind of something come in here and just chop this guy up and then disappear again, essentially.
Yeah. So Wallace would really been the person who kind of like was able to kind of see something going on as Wynn is wrapped up and Sir Kay has been kind of like, frozen in place, not attending to it. But yes, Wallace most certainly saw something from behind the creature, just kind of like, even though it's pretty dark, you had the fire going and you hadn't quite put it out yet. And there was this sort of like glowing radiance upon the creature from your guiding bolt earlier. And you saw the flash of a blade somewhere from behind it strike the creature multiple times. And then whatever was making the motion of the flash of the blade just kind of like darted backwards and out of eyesight again. So you know that something else is attacking it from beyond the the clearing.
I'd probably be like, "Where are you gone?" Like, as they go back, I'd be like, "Come back!"
Yeah. Now, that would take us to Wen's turn. And again, Wen is suffering from being restrained right now as she's completely cocooned in this webbing. You can use your action to attempt to break free if you would like, or you can just hang out.
Yes.
I'll leave it up to you.
I think I'll try and break free.
Okay.
So strength?
break free.
Yes.
An 8.
You begin to press at the webbing to kind of like try to get your, sword in a position to where. No, you had a club. Oh, that's right. So you're trying to tear the webbing off of you. As you're doing it, it kind of constricts more around you, and you're suffering from this limited motion, and you're still cocooned within the webbing, incapable of getting out of it.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And that will take us to Wallace.
Oh, I'm flirting with a couple ideas here. I'm gonna cast polymorph on it and turn it into a chicken.
Okay. All right. What is your current spell DC?
You're muted.
You're still muted.
Sorry, it's 8
There.
plus my proficiency bonus plus my spellcasting modifier, right?
Yep. So
Right,
it'd be
so
5.
8 plus 5, 9, 10. Oh, maths, hold on.
13 plus your proficiency.
Right, so that's... Proficiency bonus is plus 3, so it's 16.
16? Okay. I have a natural 19, so it is not polymorphed
No.
into a chicken.
I'll try next time. I've got 2 spell slots now.
Dang it.
Okay, bonus action, spiritual weapon then if I...
Okay.
That's a natural 17 plus
It will hit.
8.
For sure.
Yeah, so it does another... Where's my d8? Here it is. An extra 7 points of damage.
An extra 7 points of damage. All right. How far would you say you are away from this creature?
Far enough. I'd probably be reluctant. I play too much like a barbarian. Distance a bit more from it than I normally would in combat. I'd say maybe like 25 feet, 30 feet.
20 feet. Okay. 20, 25 feet. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Eric, roll a d10 for K for me. And your spiritual weapon does smash into it, the creature.
Right. I imagine it like hits one of the antlers and kind of snaps off like one of the wee twiggy bits that go out.
Sure, maybe one of the tines, cracks with a snap a bit. The skull kind of like rattles and chatters a bit more. It sort of makes a hissing noise, but remains focused on its quarry, which is Wen. Now, Eric, roll a d10 for Sir K, please.
I want this on the record after seeing a random shape in a scimitar come out of the darkness and then disappear again. K's confusion is no longer magical. It's just normal.
Right.
Besides that, I did roll a 1 on the d10.
Okay. All right. So...
Is that really good or really bad?
I mean, it's not as bad as it could be.
That's always good.
But essentially, you dart...
Oh, no.
60, your movement's 60 feet, right? Like your full movement, like dash or whatever?
Full movement.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you essentially dash 60 feet into the forest.
Oh no.
Man. This is not Kay's night.
And so just as Sir Kay is continuing to hear the shattering and noise and what have you, his mind is still clouded and confused and can't quite make sense of the thing that he's seeing in front of him, which has only grown now that he's seen this skull attached to this deer neck, attached to this giant spider's body, and just, the reality in front of him is not making sense, and the only thing his mind can piece together is to flee, and he does that. Now, that takes us back up to the top of the round. Just give me a saving throw, a con save.
Okay. 6.
You can call this a spy deer then, eh?
Oh, why did you do that?
Give me just a second.
Sorry.
Wynn takes 36 points of damage.
Spy deer is not playing around.
Oh, wow. Okay. 36?
36 points of damage.
Off in the distance here, as Kay just randomly walks into a tree.
Oh, you can't see that. Oh. I have a sheet printed out for this, and as just I'll get back to the attack in just a second, but I can't hold it in any longer. As a placeholder for the name, when I created D&D Beyond, I called it a spy deer.
Did you actually got a spy deer? Yes, mate. Great minds, mate. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, but I did spy like as in like an espionage type spy, spy deer. But that was a placeholder name, and I was just gonna let y'all decide what you wanted to call it. So maybe it's not a placeholder name. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a spy deer. It's canon.
yeah. Anyway, sorry for the aside. So yes, when
Yeah.
feels her body grow cold and feels as though life is being leached from her somehow, though she can't quite tell how, whether or not it's the cocoon doing it or the creature itself. She knows that she is under the effect of something dangerous. You felt this kind of energy before as your life has left you, and not sure that Wen would call it this, but the necrotic type energy. It's attacking your very life force.
Okay.
Man, the Tarantula is mad. I had to
Thanks,
throw
sir.
my own in there. I'm sorry.
All right. So that's what the creatures does, and then we're back to Birdie's turn. Birdie's character's turn.
Yes, we are, aren't we? This is wonderful. Okay, so I still have that card up. I still have Zephyr Strike up. It's good for a minute as long as I hold concentration on it.
Okay.
So I am going to run up again 30 feet to the creature using my normal movement. I am going to strike at it with my scimitar again. And I didn't hit it this time. So that was just prepping it. I was just letting him know I was there again. This one hits, that's a 19, like a 22, I think.
22 will definitely hit.
Yeah.
You can give me damage on
And, yep. And then, oh, I didn't do it this time, but I'll do it next time. Okay, so then it's in 1d6? 5.
5 points of damage. Okay.
Points of damage, and then I am going to boop 30 feet away again.
Okay. And not that your character was studying it, very much as they were up there, but I can tell you this is happening pretty quickly. And just as you rush in, take a strike, miss, swing again, connect with it, you can see that some of the wounds that you've caused it or one of the other people have caused it almost seem to be healing, not quite instantaneously, but these wounds are closing in. Closing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So your character notices that. And then we're back to Wen's turn, who again has felt some of her life force leave her body. She's still wrapped in this cocoon, restrained, can't attempt to break free again.
Yeah, definitely will be trying. 14.
14. 14 is still not enough, Jess. You're still encased in this cocoon. And yeah, anything else Wen can do?
I mean, she could rage, but that would not protect against the necrotic, so not really.
I'm going to meta this for you just so you know, because your character is in a dire situation, would probably realize this. I think Rage would give you advantage on strength checks, which is what you're making, right?
Oh, right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and let you know that your character might consider raging, given that,
Yeah. She's failed to break out twice. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll use my bonus action to rage.
Yeah. Again, don't want to play your character, just wanted to remind you that that would be helpful to you, potentially.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Lewis?
Okay, first of all, I'll spiritual weapon. 26.
26. Okay, 26 will definitely hit.
6 points of damage, and for my main attack, I'm a cast Guardian of Faith.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna basically what you see from sort of Wallace is he kind of like opens his two palms and there's this like kind of purple fire and he kind of like clasps that together and shoots it forward, and it starts off to look like this kind of serpent which melds into this kind of like what looks like this kind of like a Viking basically, and it's gonna be within 10 feet of the spider. So that needs to make that. So the spider needs to make a dex save.
Dex save? Okay.
DC 16. The spiritual guardian also has like a kind of moth like tattooed on its chest that's kind of like just topless, and it's got like like a sword and a shield. So yeah, that needs to make a dex save.
Okay, I rolled a natural 20. Definitely not gonna. I mean, not natural 20, natural 2. Definitely not gonna be high enough to make the dex save.
Natural 2. Okay, it instantly takes 20 radiant damage. And I'm just going to keep the Guardian to keep within 10 feet of that, and it's going to need to make a save. It's going to keep taking 20 radiant damage. And my Spiritual Guardian only disappears when it takes 60 damage.
Okay. All right.
So that's mine.
All right. So you cast Spiritual Guardian, it appears, and in what way does it deal damage? Just with its weapons? Is that what?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. As it kind of forms from this snake, it kind of morphs into this like kind of Scandinavian warrior, and it would just bring down its axe onto the deer's skull.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it does that, and again, kind of like one of the times that had been damaged earlier or whatever, it, hacks into the antlers and some of them, go kind of like flying onto the forest floor, excuse me. Now, is that it for your turn?
Yeah, I'm going to move a wee bit back now.
Okay,
I'm gonna move like 10 or so feet back.
gotcha. All right, Eric, we're back to Sir K. Give me a D10.
Should I have rolled another saving throw at the end of last turn or no? Because I know sometimes like confusion spell and confusion effects get weird and they don't always do the same things.
Oh yeah, you should have rolled. You should have rolled a saving throw. My bad.
Okay, saving throw. Wisdom, yes.
Wisdom saving throw. Yes.
That's a 17 plus 4.
All right, 17. You're 60 feet away in the forest from the clearing, not the actual creature. A little further away from that, probably about 70 feet away from the creature.
Cool.
You can hear, the din of combat, going on behind you in the clearing. You kind of come to your senses.
Yeah, like I come to my senses just after like walking face first into a tree that I didn't see. So you just like Kay basically like planks into the tree, shakes his head, mutters under his breath, "I fucking hate mind control." Turns around, walks 30 feet, and he's like stomping his way through the forest. So you probably hear the like plate armor clanking as he's coming back. And he's like behind two trees. He's just going to move 30 feet towards the clearing again. And you're just going to watch these two like lances made of Eldritch Blast just come out from the woods and go for the spider.
All right, give me attack rolls, please.
First one is a 19 to hit. And the second one is 17 to hit.
Both
So
will
I
hit.
think those both.
You may give me damage.
2d10s.
While you're doing that, Christy wants to know what Birdie's character looks like. We'll find out in a little bit. No one's really seen them yet.
I want to know too.
First one is 10 points of force damage. And the second one is 5 points of force damage.
Okay.
And due to Warlock shenanigans, nothing happens anymore. I don't have the push trick anymore.
Okay.
It's just the damage.
Gotcha. Okay. So your lances materialize, streak across the forest, find their way home, find purchase into the flesh of whatever fell beast this is. It damages it, tears into its flesh, hisses, and screams as much as this kind of creature can, but retains its footing.
Yeah, well,
Continues
now that's how I feel.
to focus on Wen, who's in front of it.
And I forgot to mention this when I raged, but when entered her rage, spectral figures, warriors appeared around her.
Okay.
Right?
Give me just a second.
Regrets eating on my pizza.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I know you're restrained. I was going to make sure I was supposed to be rolling advantage, and I am. So, essentially, what Wallace will observe happening, and Birdie's character and Sir Kay, is this creature will begin to tear into this kind of like wind cocoon with the tines of its antlers, ripping into her flesh, as you will see within this, this sort of kind of like white webbing that's built up around her. Blood will begin to leach out into it. Now, Wynn is going to take some damage from this.
Wynn is not looking good right now.
Hold on.
Not at all.
I mean, it's normally me.
Shit, I'm not close enough. I didn't get to do the thing.
Okay, that's going to be another 29 points of damage.
What kind of damage?
hold on. It should have been 2 different types of damage.
Oh,
So
no.
Oh,
you'll be taking piercing damage. Can you mitigate that with your rage?
I have resistance with the rage.
Okay. All right. So 29 altogether.
Damn.
Let's see how much you would have reduced that. Those again. So you can reduce 11 points of that. Would have been piercing.
No.
Okay. So she'll take 5 piercing.
Mm-hmm. And then 18
And
poison damage.
Damn.
okay.
So essentially what happens is Wynn is just kind of frozen in place in this cocoon, unable to move, unable to break free. And then all of a sudden she feels multiple strikes pierce her flesh, and at the point of contact, your flesh just feels aflame as this poison is burning and seeping its way into your body. And you'll also need to make a con save.
Yay, another one.
you'll be fine.
No, I
Cannot
won't.
imagine that is-
What you
That's
got?
a 3.
All right.
Oh, no.
You're now poisoned in addition to being restrained.
Nasty.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That takes us back to Birdie's character.
Yeah. So I am having a struggle as a character, because I know that the most logical thing right now is to have as many creatures in the fight as possible against this monster, whatever this is. So I can see you basically being consumed by this thing and being poisoned and being getting pretty gnarly over there. So my character is I will bounce in over to you very quickly, and I'm gonna touch you. And again, this is all kind of in a whirlwind. I'll touch you and heal you for 14 points. Something.
Nice.
Yeah, yay.
Are you playing as the Tasmanian Devil?
Yes, that's me.
Wonderful.
I am the Tasmanian Devil.
All right.
And I, as a bonus action, I want to bite this thing
Oh, that's my kind of
as,
gal, man.
as hard as I can. And that went right here. That one. I'm going to bite this thing as hard as I can. And essentially, I have thrown myself into a frenzy. And I'm going to bite at this one. Okay, sorry. Ah, my papers. That is 6 points of damage to it, I think. Oh, if the attack hits. Sorry, I didn't roll these.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's 19.
Okay. All right. 19 will hit for 6
So
points of
6
damage.
Of damage, and I am feeling good now. I'm feeling good with myself.
Okay.
Is all. I whirlwind back out of there.
Okay. Very quickly, now that you've stepped into the clearing, stood still momentarily to place your hand, or whatever upon Wynn to heal her, and then taking a moment to bite into the flesh of this creature. And I'll let you know, as you tear into its neck, I mean, you've probably consumed deer raw before, I imagine. It tastes like deer, as you do
Ooh.
that, But please describe for everyone else who can observe what they see as you step into the clearing and do this.
Sure thing. So if you take a moment to look at this whirlwind as it pauses, you will see a what you consider a pretty massive creature for something you'd encounter out in the woods, especially for it being so fast and being so quiet. This creature stands about 6'9" and is about 230 pounds. He's a massive monster. And he is covered in scales and green and brown and yellow scales and looks almost dinosaur-like, if you would even know what those are. And he has a tail, a long tail, and he's wearing um, uh, and just bright yellow eyes, just shining yellow eyes, especially if you see a sunlight glint off of them. It's like filters through the leaves. And he's wearing leather armor, but it is pretty mangled, and he's obviously been out here for a long time. He's it's covered in dirt. It's not well taken care of, but he doesn't seem to notice, nor does he care. And he's wielding this giant scimitar that is almost patinaed, as it has lived its career out here in the forest and the nearby swamplands. And he has several other assorted weapons just strapped to his back. And he, especially as he went to attack the monster, he had this look in his eye of just viciousness, literally frenzied at this point, wanting to take down this creature. And before you know it, poof, he's gone.
All right. That's what you observe, except for Wynn. Wynn does not know that just yet. But Wynn knows that someone, presumably Wallace, maybe, stepped forward, touched her. She felt this healing warmth come over her body, but again is unable to see. It has not helped the poison condition nor the restrained condition at all. So you still find yourself suffering from those two conditions. As we're back to your turn.
All right. I guess I may as well try to escape again.
You may do so at advantage this time.
Come on, Jess, you got this, bro.
$14.
14. Still a little too low. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
No. All right.
And yeah, I believe that's all I can do.
Okay. All right. So you're still cocooned within here. That'll take us to Wallace's turn, who sees, within, after seeing this kind of like whirl and flash and, this odd monster that is apparently trying to take down whatever creature this is. Wallace is taken to mentally referring to it as the spy deer. By the way, go ahead and just take some inspiration for that, just
Wow. Oh, well.
Because you nailed the name exactly what I put it on there.
Thank you.
So you can have a point of inspiration for that. But he also notices, that Wynn is struggling within this webbing, this cocoon, and seems to be unable to free herself from it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna bonus action, spiritual weapon.
Okay.
How long does that last? 10 rounds? Or
Yeah,
6 rounds?
a minute.
Right.
10.
That's cool. Oh, it's a natural 20 on that.
All right.
Okay, so that's...
Let's ship all our good rolls back to North America, jeez.
That's another 22 points of damage.
Got it.
And then I'm gonna run over to Win, and can I try to hack the weapon to like break it free?
I suppose you could.
All right, like Skyrim dungeon crawl style. I'm just gonna like hit this until. So what do you want me to roll for that?
You just make a normal attack roll.
Let's try not hit Win. So that's a 17.
17. All right, you strike it. How much damage can you do to it?
A d6 with my axe.
Okay.
1 point of damage.
You manage to cut into it, but this stuff is thick, and not only is it thick, but the webbing is it's got some tensile strength to it. You know, it's not coming away easily.
I'm just gonna say to Win, sorry, bro. I'm trying. I'll sort this out.
Okay. All right. Now, if that's it, we're back to Sir Kay.
Yep.
Who observes, Wallace observes that creature dart out of the forest in a flash, disappear. Observes Wallace step forward, attempting to cut Wynn loose, unable to. Which, by the way, when was that creature? Is your spiritual guardian still out right now?
Yeah, my spiritual guardian lasts. I'll tell you how long it lasts for just now.
So was I supposed to make another deck save? Is that what was supposed to happen?
Yes, you do, and that's a DC 16.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it lasts for 8 hours.
Okay.
So.
Well, I definitely made the deck save this time. Does anything happen?
It takes half, so it takes 10 points of radiant damage.
10? Okay.
It's a real badass spell.
Yeah, mate. I love cleric so much.
All right. Yeah. So, as you're trying to free Wynn, your spiritual guardian is, continuing to hack at the creature with its hand axes. Now, Sir Kay observes all of these things. Oh, actually, before we get to Sir Kay, when you said that you had like some spiritual guardians or something out as well because of your rage, what was that?
Yes.
Should I be doing anything because of that?
No, because I haven't been able to attack.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. They're a very specific subset of thing.
Gotcha.
Which is really cool.
In that case, it is Sir Kay's turn. I just wanted to give you all the damage that you could muster together. So, anyway.
I need to write this down.
Okay. Kay's just watching this, and like under his breath, in the quiet beats, you can kind of hear him muttering to himself. He's like, "Right, deer-headed spider, giant gecko. Okay, not the worst day we've had." And like he kind of looks over, and you're gonna see his whole body flicker with that aurora, like borealis color once, and it's gonna like flicker kind of like out from his chest where the new house emblem is. It's gonna flicker out underneath his skin, hit all of his extremities, and then quickly flicker back, and he's gonna disappear to flash of light. And he's gonna misty step 20 feet towards this thing because he's 40 feet away right now.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna walk another 20 feet up to this thing, and I'm gonna take the crystalline longsword, and I'm just gonna start hacking away at it. But I'm actually gonna use a green flame blade attack. So this will be a regular weapon attack, which is a 17 plus I think 8 to hit. Yeah, it's plus 8. So that's a 25 to hit with a green flame blade.
Will definitely hit. You can give me damage.
So it's gonna be. I'm gonna drop a second level divine smite into this.
Yeah.
So I had not abused. So it's gonna be 2d8. Is this thing an undead or a fiend?
I don't need you to break the. No, it's not, and I don't need you to break the damage up into damage types. I just need to know. You can just give me the collective damage for it.
Okay, I just need to do math. Roll, please. So that's 2, 3. So that's okay. It's gonna be 5d8.
Yes.
Okay, so you just like from the woods, Birdie's character probably just sees like this crystal longsword light up with like an aurora borealis, and then just come down for the thing's head.
Okay.
Not terribly. One more. 20. That's 25 points of slashing, fire, and radiant damage.
Nice.
And then Green Flame Blade leaps for a d8 plus 3 to a target I choose. Can I choose the webs of Winton's cocoon?
Do you get to roll a separate strike for that?
No, it's just a d8 plus 3
Sure.
fire damage.
Sure, you can do that. That's fine.
So I'm sorry in advance, Win. Okay, I only rolled a 2, so it's 5 fire damage to the webs.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you step forward with your sword. Hack into it. A bit of the green flame, leaps onto the webbing. Some of it, smolders and goes up in flame and begins to burn away. It's still there, but it's significantly more damaged than. Uh-oh. Let's wait for Eric to get back with us.
I'm good.
All right, so some of the flame leaps off of the creature and begins burning away at this webbing that's on Wynn. It's still there, but it is a good bit more damage than when from Wallace's slicing at it. So it's beginning to burn away some, but Wynn is still restrained and still covered in a lot of this webbing. Anything else that you can do?
No, that is my full turn.
All right.
So I'm just gonna stay there and try and look intimidating.
All right. In that case, we're back up to the top of the round. Just a second. All right. Now, I didn't take care of this earlier. Does it roll its dex save on its turn or on your turn?
I think it's my turn. Yeah, my turn.
Okay. All right then. So, in that case, Circaeid hisses and pivots its tines towards you, leans its head down, and then strikes up with them.
Sure.
Okay, that will be one strike. One miss. Two misses. All right. So its first attack with its tines catch you kind of like in between a couple of your plates and finds purchase just under your ribs. And again, as it stabs into you, hurts from the puncture wound, but immediately just the flesh around it feels aflame as poison leaches into your body as well. Now,
No.
Circae takes 10 piercing damage.
Okay, that's not bad.
Okay, 10 piercing damage. And then 20 poison damage.
Oh. Okay, that's bad.
And Circae also needs to make a con save.
That's a dirty 20.
All right. You make your con save, you're not poisoned. But it burns, it hurts, it stings.
Burns us.
All right. And that takes us back to Birdie's character. We still don't know their name yet. We know a little bit more about them.
Yes. So, does this thing just look like it's trucking?
It doesn't look like it's trucking at this point. It's definitely injured. But again,
okay,
you can... It's
still
bloodied
healing.
in the sense that there are multiple injuries that are just sort of like leaching this ichor onto the forest floor below it. But it doesn't look like it's about to collapse.
Okay.
And again, as you're observing it, trying to take into account its state, you still notice that wounds are healing as it's fighting.
Okay. And the other three are in a pretty tight area, right? No one's too far away?
Right.
Okay. Then I will bounce to what I consider to be about the center of everyone. So move X amount of feet. I am going to cast Rope Trick. And once it's up, essentially, you see what is essentially another dimension, a door to another dimension has opened up about 40 feet in the air. About 40 feet in the air. And I don't climb it, but I point at it and just say, up, and then move 30 feet away again.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So Birdie's character, this creature that she's already described for you, this, as Sir Kay put it, oversized gecko, rushes in, casts some sort of magic. A rope descends from the sky. You see that it leads up to what appears to be the entrance to some sort of, I don't even know if your characters would know exactly what a pocket dimension is or anything like that, but they point up. Say, what does your character's voice sound like, do you think?
His voice is definitely very guttural. The language he's speaking is common, but it has a strange tinge to it that, it's definitely not his first language. You can kind of just tell. And when he speaks and says up, there's this hurriedness in his voice that makes it sound like, yes, he definitely just wants to get it out as quickly as possible, but also he might not have a ton more words to tell you exactly what to do. So up was as far as he could get, but it's definitely deep. It's definitely guttural.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So your characters hear and observe that. Now, and then again, Birdie, did you say that they disappear kind of back into the forest?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. In that case, we're back to Wynn's turn. You may attempt
Okay, I will
another
try
escape.
to get out again.
Come on, Win. Do we want to follow into the gecko's pocket dimensions?
21!
21. Okay.
Yes. Yes, we do.
As you're within there, you notice this sort of like green burning flame begin to illuminate the interior of this webbing, and you take your hands at the point that you see it burning through, and you get like a handhold in there, and you just rip the webbing off of your body, and you've freed yourself with your action. And if you have a bonus action, you may employ that. Bonus action, additional actions, whatever you have.
Yeah. I don't think I have any at the moment.
Okay. Well, at the very least,
Yeah.
you're free.
Yep.
So there's that.
You
Yay.
lost your audio, Jess.
I can hear her.
Yeah, we still got the audio. Can you hear us, Eric?
No.
Eric?
Hey.
Okay. Here, we'll continue on and we'll catch Eric up because it's anyway. So Wynn is able to free yourself from this cocoon. Then it's Wallace's turn. He sees
how
the
long is
rope.
the
He
rope?
sees that Wynn is free. What does Wallace do?
I'll listen to the lizard man, and I'll jump up the rope.
Okay.
See you later. I'm just gonna jump up there.
Okay. All right. So you begin climbing the rope.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I use my bonus action to also hang spiritual weapon on the thing anyway?
It's still up. You still have control of it.
Banging. Right. That is 25 to hit.
25 hits. Give me some damage.
That'll be 9 points of damage.
All right. So again, this large, purple vision of your head slams into it with this force damage, knocking it back slightly. All right. That takes us to Cirque.
Yep.
You see Wallace is beginning to climb the rope.
Yep. I'm going to reach down and give Wynn a hand up. And as I do, I'm going to pump 25 points of lay on hands into Wynn.
Okay.
Because she definitely needs it.
Wynn is healed for another 25 points.
And then I guess I'm climbing. I don't know, does helping someone up, is that a free thing? I don't know.
I mean, at the very least, we could call it a bonus action or something like that. I don't know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just start climbing the rope.
So the two of you make your way toward the rope and begin trying to get up it. All right. So, all right. Takes us back up to the monster's turn.
Oh, it needs to make a dex save because I had my go.
That's right. And it's going to fail, taking 20 points of damage. Okay. And it will go even further into the clearing, charging after Cirque as he's the last one, making his way up the rope, attempting to strike again with its tines. Actually, I should recharge. See if it recharges its webbing. And didn't do that last round, this round. And the webbing's still not recharged. So it strikes with its tines. Missing. And missing. So just as he's going up this rope, just kind of like clanks against his armor as these strikes of the tines of the antler are just getting glancing blows off of it.
You probably hear him yelp once.
Okay.
They hit a bit low.
All right. Now, that takes us back to Birdie's character.
Where is everyone now?
On a rope.
Everyone is attempting to climb the rope.
Okay, so all three are at the rope. And the creature is basically at the bottom of the rope then?
Yes, Cirque, the one that was wearing plate mail, is the last person trying to climb up the rope. And this creature is just kind of like striking at it with its tines, glancing off of its armor. Glancing blows off of its armor.
Okay. Can I use my movement to pass it? I guess because it says I can't. They can't get opportunity attacks on me, right? Let me make sure I'm reading it appropriately.
If that's still if that's still up, then you should be able to begin to try to climb without without it getting an opportunity attack on you.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. It should still be up. It's a minute and it's concentration and I haven't been hit or anything like that. So you move like the wind until the spell ends. Your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. So I'm just going to blaze by it and make my way up that rope.
Okay. All right then. All right. So you begin trying to climb up as well. That's going to take us to Jess or Wynn. I'm assuming, or you tell me what she's doing.
Yeah, I guess I'm climbing the rope.
Climbing the rope. Okay. Then we're back to Lewis or Wallace.
Bonus action, a spiritual weapon first. 18 plus 6.
That hits.
No, 8, sorry, but still. Okie doke. So that's 13 points of damage.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just going up the rope.
And then you're
I
just
want to
going
use
up
my full movement to go up the rope. So that's
Gotcha.
50 feet of
All
rope.
right. And then we're back to Sir Kay.
Okay, I'm gonna do what everyone else does, get as high up the rope as I can. If I can get into the pocket dimension, I will. If not, I will. But I'm just gonna get as high up that rope as I can, and then I'm gonna kind of loop one hand in the rope and let go with the other hand, point down, fire two more Eldritch.
Okay. All right, go ahead. I'll allow it.
Actually, for flavor, it probably looks like he just drops the sword, and as it falls, it just kind of turns into two like falling stars of Eldritch Blast.
All right, sounds good.
First one, that's a natural 17 to hit.
Okay.
Second one is 16. I think that misses.
16 misses, but the first one hits.
Okay,
It also needs to make a dex save.
and that's 8 points of force damage.
8 points. All right. Yeah, so as this kind of like falling star, one kind of like goes askew, hits the ground to the side of it, but the other one lands true, injures it as it's beginning to try to climb the rope as well. It kind of like knocks it off the rope. Then
Great.
we're back to its turn, as it's kind of like knocked back down to the ground. Now, well, so that takes us back to Birdie. I'm not really sure how rope trick works exactly. So once you get up there, does the rope disappear? Do you pull it up? What happens
So
with it exactly?
I pull it up with me. You can leave it hanging down if you want, but I'm pulling it up behind myself since I was the last one going up. It says it'll last until the spell ends, which is a full hour, and it can be reached by climbing to the top of the rope. The space can hold as many as 8 medium or smaller creatures. The rope can be pulled into the space, making the rope disappear from view outside of the space.
Gotcha.
Attacks and spells can't cross through the entrance into or out of the space, but those inside can see out of it as if through a 3-foot by 5-foot window centered on the rope.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, so all of you have made your way to the safe haven of this kind of pocket dimension. Bertie, you want to describe kind of what it looks like in there, like what everyone sees as they ascend this rope?
Yeah, this pocket dimension honestly doesn't look too different from outside. It's a bit murky. It's darker in there. If it were, I mean, it's kind of real, and so it feels like the ground is a bit swampy. It's humid in there. It's covered in foliage. It doesn't go incredibly far in one direction or the other, but it's like a mini swamp inside of there. That's really it. Feels a little gross. Smells a little bad.
Okay, and I think that's a good point where we'll take about a 5 or so minute break, and then we'll pick up with your characters in Birdie's character's pocket dimension. Okay, so anyone on Twitch hanging out with us tonight, thank you. We're going to take a break for about 5 minutes, and we'll be back to play for just a little bit longer. So 5 minutes, y'all. Before we left for a 5 minute break, your characters had encountered this creature after having shipwrecked on the shores of Mondred Island. This creature that you encountered had a deer skull for a head. Antlers that had this webbing strung between them. A neck that looked like a living deer that was attached to the body of a giant spider. And you had this battle with it shortly after entering the forest. And things went south for a bit there as Sir Kay was a bit confused at what he had seen, and Wen was quickly enshrouded in this webbing and unable to get free. But someone a new person, a new thing, a new creature. Something monstrous in visage to you all. Came in from the forest and began attacking it, and ultimately cast a spell that allowed you to ascend a rope into some sort of pocket dimension in the sky. Place that you climbed to that resembled a swamp with marshy ground, humid, wet, warm. Inside there is this creature, this lizard person. Pulled the rope up. That's where you find yourselves, able to look back down to the earth below you. But you're safe up here, as this creature in the clearing below you, this what Wallace has taken to internally referring to as a spy deer, and what Sir has looked at as a tarantler, I think is what he called it. Anyway, you see this thing down in the clearing for a bit. Eventually it crawls back into the forest, and you are all in this sort of swampy pocket dimension looking at one another. And that's where we'll resume play.
I'm just gonna say to our new friend, I really like what you've done with the place. Yeah, what is this? Why can I see the floor but I'm not on the floor? And like, thanks, I guess. But who are you? But thanks.
You are safe here. It's I don't know. Home.
Kay is like on his back to one side of the window and is just like, thanks. And like sits himself up slowly.
This
Because
is he just looks back at you and he's like, this is safe place for you.
You got
Magic.
food?
It's magic. The floor. Do you know of magic?
Yeah, so cast conjure like a bit of flames in my hand or something.
Magic space keeps you safe.
Right. Magic rooms.
Um,
You know, still not the worst day we've had.
yeah.
You all ruined
Speak for yourself.
my hunt.
Oh. See, that's where I feel like we're getting off on the wrong foot. It wasn't intentional. I feel like you were hunting a thing that was hunting us.
If you let me hunt, I'd kill.
I saw you bite it. That thing was nasty, man. And that's coming from me. I like it. What's your name? And I'm gonna extend that.
He looks at your hand a little oddly and just kind of pokes it. And
He grabs the finger and kind of crunches it.
I am Max Sasku.
Max Sasku. Damn. I'm Wallace. Nice to meet you.
Wallace.
Yep, like wall ass.
Wallace.
This is turning into the Fifth Element so quickly.
Oh no.
Multipass?
I feel so bad for Mox already. Just because Wallace has a thing now that means none of us can tell when he's lying. Oh no. Yeah,
I'm writing it down. Wall ass. Cool. Mox. Wall ass.
I'm Win.
Win.
I'm Kay.
K. Win. K. Hello.
Hello. So yeah, what do you live here? Like, is this your house, or like, do you stay in the woods down below?
Magic room, not house.
Ah,
Safe
do you have a
space.
house? Safe space. That's cool.
No house. I live in swamp.
So the swamp's your house.
This island.
What?
Is the whole island a swamp?
Swamp, forest. Yeah.
Swamp
This
forest
island is
house.
my house.
Kay just
You
sits there, rubs his temples.
you
for a
own
second.
this island. You own this island. So you know where that or Omen, the place called Omen.
I don't own the island. Can't own island.
It's your house.
House. Yeah. This is house, but not own.
Ah, I get you. So you don't own the island, but it's your house. So you're just squatting.
Lived here always.
Ah,
It's like what I used to do with the bandits. Live in the
Yeah.
woods, but you don't own them.
okay.
Right. Not a bandit.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
I'd never. Well,
No, it's a long
That's-
story.
we
I
could
will-
probably consider you a friend then, yes?
Friend?
Friend.
Friend. Friend. What?
How do you put friend in layman's terms? Cool, good time, not hurt each other.
No fighting.
No fighting. Yes, exactly. No fighting.
Stop interrupting hunt.
Ah, you wanted to hunt and we interrupted you from hunting.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know you wanted to hunt and eat that thing if that was your dinner. Look, there's so much better food than that anyway. Like, that seems hairy and nasty. You gotta try some dwarven.
You're very small.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out.
He's 6'9", so he's like looking straight down at you right now.
Yeah, I'm like looking like up like that. So.
Shouldn't be out. Too
What do you mean?
small.
But what do you mean too small? Hold on a minute. Too big. That's why.
It hurt.
No, I'm good. Look, and I'll show that I'm not hurt.
Kay's in the background, like behind walls. She goes,
I'm good.
I point at the other two of you and I say, "You protect." Small one.
No.
We try.
No.
Didn't seem very good at it.
Yeah, exactly. I was protecting them.
Try. We just don't have good luck with woods.
Mock's
Nah.
good in the woods. I protect.
Hmm.
Do you know where the village is near here?
Omen.
Village. Omen.
Lots of people?
What? People. Humans?
Some, yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Do you know where they are?
Oh. Human world. Mm-hmm.
Would you be
Wow.
willing to lead us there?
Protect. Sure.
We'll pay you in food.
Yeah, nice food. Not like spider food.
Spy deer tastes good.
Mm.
Spy deer. Spy
You
deer.
probably
deer.
tastes
No.
like crunchy venison, really.
Roast
Here.
goose. Aunt Moira's soup. That's good food.
What language? He talking? I don't.
think he's talking Dwarvish.
Don't know.
Probably broken common Dwarvish.
Yeah, you're just saying words that he hasn't like picked up in life yet.
Of course, I think I'm the only other person here who knows Dwarvish, so I'm the only person who's getting everything.
Yeah.
Do we have anything we can draw with? Can I draw something? Because I'm like an apprentice tattoo artist, right? So I'm probably all right at drawing.
Kay takes a
So,
very
like-
nervous glance down to the ironclad book on his belt and just like
Hi.
shifts it around his hip so that it's behind his back.
Can I?
Human world. I take.
You take human world to us.
Other way
No.
around. Us
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, you take us to the human world. Yeah, sorry, I'm not good at this.
Yes, I protect.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
And RJ, I will say that I have a thing, and the reason I'm telling them yes, I'm telling you the reason I'm telling them yes,
Okay.
is that I have a thing that says, when I find it on this paper, I swear, it's one of my background features that says I have an excellent memory for always and can always recall, or for maps and geography, and I can
Right,
always
yeah.
recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. So I would imagine, since I have traversed the entirety of this island a million times over, I would know what they're talking about and where to go.
Yes, and if you had not said you know where they were going, I was going to let you know, or if you had questioned, you definitely know the settlement that they're talking about. I mean, I can't say that your character has probably been there very much,
Yeah.
but you know this
I
settlement.
avoid it,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't like to go there, but I know where it is.
Right, yeah, you definitely know, and from where you are right now, you imagine that you could take them there. Pretty much a day's journey is essentially what you would be looking at. So.
I take a day or two.
Okay.
That's
good.
great.
Yeah, that's good.
Fast, not slow, like human.
Kay looks down at his heavily armored self. Alright then.
So,
He looks at you as well and says, maybe 3.
Alright, I'll take that one. Kay is just like, is it okay if we sleep here?
In one time, fall down.
Right.
and one time fall down.
1 hour, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey.
Hour. 1 hour. Fall down.
Look,
I be your teacher. Teach you to speak.
Oh God.
this is a really bad idea.
This is a brilliant idea.
Wallace, when you
Teacher.
get excited, you stop speaking common and you start splitting between Dwarvish and common. So
Then I'll teach her
maybe
2
we can do
languages.
this maybe we can do this as a team.
Sure.
Team?
Team.
Work together.
No fighting.
No fighting.
Yes.
Friend.
Friend. Team. Team friend.
Team friend. Yes.
Team friend.
Yes.
Oh my. Okay.
So
Wallace is
how
gonna be
we?
that parent that teaches their kid all the curse words first.
Yes.
At this point, Mox looks at Win and just says, okay, rest?
Rest would be good.
Short rest.
Mox, take to safer place on ground.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Great idea.
Okay.
And Kay's just gonna like look over the edge of the window and see if the spider's still down there or not.
No, it's not. What I intended to start this encounter with was this. But now that you've had kind of a moment to just sort of collect yourself and speak for a little bit, You kind of look down, and your eyes sort of glaze over as you're looking for this creature. Eric, I want you to give me a sanity roll first, okay?
Oh, not again.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Oh, spy dear.
Okay, that's a 16.
16. You have a flash of Nissa and being in Black Sands and going with her to be tattooed.
Ooh.
And you recall that upon her forearm, she got something tattooed very similar. A spider, a deer, a skull, antlers and tines. And this memory comes back to you in a flash.
Isn't this a goth?
You feel unsettled. You feel unsettled, but nothing more than that.
Well, looks like your prey disappeared on us, so should be safe to move.
Hmm.
At least now I know
Safe,
which
yes. Hunt later.
You know
Yeah, food's overrated.
that when you ask her about the tattoo and its significance, she said something to you about Mindweaver, but you didn't pick up much more than that.
That leaves a sour taste in his mouth.
Mindweaver.
Yeah, he probably muttered the word under his breath. That's about it.
Mindweaver.
Do I know what that means?
Weaver.
No,
Like, do I know?
Hmm.
Nah, just no clue.
you have no clue. I mean, you know what Mind and Weaver mean, and what the two of them together could possibly,
Yeah.
Sorry,
suggest.
just remembered something. Well, might as well head out, and I'm just gonna step through the window and jump because I still have the ring of feather falling. So I'm just gonna float.
Ah! He yells.
Eh.
All right.
Oh. More magic. Magic.
Yeah.
Which magic? Which magic? Yell down.
I think it's called Featherfall.
Featherfall.
You get the sense that Kay doesn't know everything about magic.
Featherfall.
He just sort of does it.
Yeah, but Mokes has no problem, picking up to the fact that that's magic. Nothing falls like that at all whatsoever. So,
Right.
that happens.
He's noting it because he wants it.
Yeah. I'm assuming everyone will descend the rope, and then the rope trick spell will be dispelled. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Birdie,
Yes.
I'm not going to make you roll for this. Obviously, this is your home. You're a ranger. You have, keen memory of geographic features and whatnot.
Yes.
So I just want you to set a scene. What is it like as you lead them to wherever you're going? And then when you get there, where is that place? So I'll just remind you, again, once more, it is kind of mid-spring, but the night is chilly in spite of it being spring. It has begun to rain. You are shielded by the canopy of the forest overhead. That being said, water is still kind of like falling down on you. The air is thick with moisture. The ground is soft beneath you for all of you who are kind of like walking and not accustomed to what this place feels like. You are in kind of marshy ground. Your feet will sink into the ground. You'll pull it up with kind of like a sickening suck. As it's very much difficult terrain for you to move through. Mox does not seem to be having as much of a problem moving through it as you. So
Well,
anyway,
and actually,
you probably have a feature
I'm a natural explorer.
That's
and
right.
I have a
Yes.
favorite terrain
Got you.
of forests and swamps. So this actually won't feel very difficult for everyone. I think everyone will be a little bit surprised at how easy it does feel, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so set us that scene. Tell us what's going on, where you're leading them to.
So, yep, I'm making sure I know all that. So as we move through, this is, as you said, forested. I mean, there's definitely a canopy. It's you're imagining a little drip, drip, drop, little April showers happening. Maybe a Bambi running off in the distance. Hashtag Disney sponsor us. And no, if it is moving into evening and it's darker outside, the canopy makes it even darker. And this area of the island starts to become more and more heavily forested, and the forest starts to break into swamp, and the sounds of the creatures start changing a little bit too. And it goes from the happy sing-songs of birds and little foxes or whatever yips throughout the day, and you don't see the squirrels running around anymore and things like that. You start to move into an area where you're hearing frogs and crickets and bugs and night sounds. You might hear something howl and you don't necessarily even know what it is. And it's a little unsettling to anyone that's not used to this type of territory or terrain. And especially as we move into the more waterlogged areas of the swamp, you see a yellow glinting eye occasionally that probably makes you feel even a little bit more uncomfortable. There probably is a normal sized spider that drops down in front of your face at one time or another. You have to wipe away a web from your from your armor. And the whole time, Mox is moving along quite happily. Nothing about this bothers him. He is at home as could possibly be in the swampier areas. He is incredibly silent for considering his massive size. He spent his whole life here, so he just knows how to place his feet to create the least wake in the water and things like that. And you get to a point where the water is, 3 feet up. So the shorter amongst you have to be very careful. And Mox will even offer to let, if certain dwarven folk decided they needed a little extra assistance, Mox would allow them to sit on his shoulders.
Wallace would be like, no piggyback. Good. Piggyback.
Mox only help, but okay.
Every few feet, you just see Kay grab Wallace by like the scruff of the neck and just like pull him up a couple inches to reset him, and then he'll just slowly start to sink again.
He's like, nah, I don't need help. I'm fine. Yep. Even though he's probably like shoulder deep, it's like he's actually. He's just.
Mox is grabbing stuff every once in a while too, like driftwood and like random frogs that he'll just literally crack, like pull its little head off and chomp on it real quick. So you get through the forest or through the swampy area. This probably takes a whole hour, and then you come out on the other side and it starts easing back into actual forest again. And it takes another probably hour to 2 hours before you get to a place where he suggests resting, and tells you it's going to be another day and a half, probably another day. You'll get there sometime late the next day if you rest here. And nap. Take naps. Feel better.
All right, I gotta lay down. I shoot back up for a second, and you see me like reach a hand in towards like the back of my armor, and I'm like rummaging around for a second, and I stop and I pull something out. There's another one for you, and I just throw a frog at Mox.
Good team. Thanks.
Okay, now it is 9:39 now. I think this is a great stopping point for us tonight, and we'll pick up here with our next session. I do want to say this, make a note of it, that you're here when we resume playing next time. You will have had a full rest. So we'll pick up with that, and you'll be traveling to presumably the village of Omen. One point of order. When you're poisoned, you remained poisoned. You haven't taken any more damage or whatever, but essentially, what that's going to be doing for you is you basically are disadvantaged on attack rolls and ability checks until that poison condition goes away. And we can talk a little bit more about that next time, but I just want to make note of the fact that you are still poisoned. It did not stop. And it
Oh,
has not
okay.
stopped with a saving throw or anything like that. You feel ill, you feel nauseous, in spite of traveling for the better part of an hour or a little more than an hour. So, we'll stop there for tonight. Y'all, I'm glad to be playing again. Birdie, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you
We're
for
happy to
having
have
me.
you.
That's so much fun.
So fun.
Yeah. So, obviously, we won't play next Monday because that's when the other group will be resuming their campaign, but we'll play the Monday after that, which will be February 3rd. Okay. So that'll be our next session. We'll take next week off and then do the Monday after that and pick up with you in this place of rest. And then you'll venture on, presumably, to the city of Omen. So, before we leave tonight, I like to make the rounds to everyone and see if you got anything you want to plug or anything cool you want to talk about. And Birdie, you're a new player. Please start us off.
Yes. Well, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you for being welcoming to my darling giant lizard monster, Mox. If anyone knows, if anyone in chat or anyone here knows what he is a reference to, I will give you all my love and thanks. Maybe a game code. I've got plenty of those. So tweet me. But anyways, I am Birdie, aka the Birdie Source. I play lots of D&Ds around the interwebs. This is Monday night. On Tuesday night, I'm over on the Cobalt Press channel playing The World Tree Burns in the city of Midgard, or the setting of Midgard, I should say, Cobalt's own. On Thursdays, I'm on Off the Table right now playing Monster Hearts 2. I am the queen.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I own everyone. And then every other Sunday, starting back up at the end of February, I'll be on the Weirdlings channel playing the Dominion of Esland as our darling drow Alaria. So please do follow me on the tweets if you want to know where I'm at.
Birdie, that sounds awesome. It sounds like you're a
That's
busy
so cool.
person. Thank you for sharing your time with us and joining
thank you.
our game as well. Eric.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Eldritch Crow. That's where I do most of my social media stuff. You can find me as part of the Dice Nights podcast. We are going to start releasing once again next Monday. We got some really cool stuff coming up. We got to do some interviews with some creators, so we're opening up a new episode type for those interviews as well, and we're very excited. And you can also find my personal setting design project, Araxis, a jazzy JRPG-inspired D&D setting that is all copyright with attribution. So you can take anything I make on there and use it on stream, in your own works, all that stuff. You just got to credit me for it. And you can find that on my Twitter, and you can find that through worldanvil.com/w/ORAXIS. I released a couple of NPCs this past week with collaboration with a friend, and I tend to do one spell or monster, one magic item a week, and a bunch of locations and NPCs, and just give you all the tools you need to sit down, find some stuff you like, and start a game.
Awesome.
So,
all right. Thank you, Eric. And Jess.
Yeah. Not a whole lot going on here, but you can find me on Twitter at ROHTIA1.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jess. And Lewis.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at DM Nexus, where I just talk about D&D and other stuff. I'm looking to start up a World Anvil soon, so I'll be posting that with the week. I'd also like to shout out a couple artists who have done some really awesome commissions of Wallace. So follow Nix Aurelia on Twitter and Scully as well. The second one is almost finished, but I've had a work in progress of it, and it looks sick. So yeah, you should check them out and get art of them because they're great people.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Lewis. And I am RJ Cresswell. You can find me on Twitter at RJ_Cresswell on Twitter. I do giveaways. I talk about my middle school D&D club. So yeah, if you're into any of that stuff, find me on there. I also talk about teens on bikes and kids in space. No, I got that backwards. Kids on Bikes and Teens in Space because I do a podcast called The Space Agers. And you can find us on Twitter at _space_agers. And for whatever reason, one of my players sent me a message earlier today. Apparently, we charted on the podcast charts for Great Britain. So I don't know why, but
You're
that
welcome, mate.
happened. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. So we've charted in the U.S. and Great Britain, so that's cool. I like our podcast as well as our stream over here. So check that out if you enjoyed our stream. If you joined us on Twitch tonight, thank you so very much. We always appreciate it. I'll try to get this episode up on YouTube as soon as possible. And in addition to the people who joined us in chat, thank you all, my players. Obviously, I couldn't have this game without you, and you made it very, very fun for me tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I will see you next session. So, good night, everyone.
It's good to be back.
Good night.
Thanks,
Yeah,
RJ.
definitely, mate.